WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something else here from Longvalley Selection single cask, Mortlach. Ooh, 17-year-old Mortlach from 2004. So if we look at the exact data here, we will have Whiskybase number 196205, and we have this very, very suggestive color here. It doesn't look like whiskey, does it? It's a red wine cask finish from Portugal. Ooh. All right, so I'm just going to pour this 50%, 318 bottles. This is cask number 1. So at the very beginning of the expansion of Longvalley here into the world of being an independent bottler. So far, they only have 9 different expressions on the German market alone. They use their brand name High Spirits Distribution. So they had an Artmore, they had a Balmenach, they had a Ben Riach, a Coile, a Craig Alecky, which I just tested, a Dal Ewan, a Glenmory, a Glendronach, which I've already tested, a Mortlach, Teninik, and a Tulebadin. So we're at Mortlach now, so 2004, 2021, 17 years old, in a first fill 2-year finish, first fill Cardeira finish. What is Cardeira? 50%, 117 euros. Well, in order to find out, we have to actually go over here to the website, cardeira.pt, PT for Portugal. And we actually have here then a nice little website. Oh, I actually have a picture of the two here. Very, very good. So what we have here is Erika and Thomas Meyer from Switzerland. They took over the vineyard in Portugal in the year 2010. So they're in the heart of Portugal, and the word Herdade actually just means a farm. And the word Cardeira either means it is a woman who is responsible for combing the raw cotton, or it is actually a plant with tiny little needles on it, almost like a cactus in Portugal. Ta-da! And so we have here this Vineyard de Cardeira. And so they put the Mortlach for 15 years into this new, fresh red wine cask from Portugal. Now, I'm going to make 2 assumptions. First assumption is that the first cask was very, very inactive. Why do I say that? First of all, I do not think that there was much color whatsoever in this bottle before that red wine hit it. I think it was a very, very light straw color. And the second thing is it was a very inactive cask. It wasn't old wood that was just bitter and yucky. It was just totally inactive. It was a dead cask, which is not bad. Depends on the price you pay for it, but it's something you can work with. So if you have a canvas and it's fairly blank, then you can actually paint on top of it whatever you want. If you have a canvas with holes in it, it's going to be difficult to paint on it. And so I thought this was a very white canvas with 15 years of age is very, very interesting. Even look at the color here. I mean, yeah, that's a great, great color there. On the nose, I get cherry, I get cherry cobbler. I don't know if you ever had a cherry cobbler, but we have peach cobbler from Georgia, and we also have something like a cherry cobbler moment. Very, very nice. I like this a lot. All right, so we have a couple guys here from Switzerland. They have the names here, Andre, Mick, Micah, and Chris. And they're all from the company called Lagertun, and they decided, hey, let's become independent bottlers. It's not enough that we have our own distillery in Switzerland. We have our own brand called Seven Seals, which they do an accelerated maturation through wood contact and pressure. They're now placing that up in Ireland, up with Great Northern Distillery, but they also wanted to expand into the independent bottler market in Germany specifically, and now they have LongValley, Longatun, Lagatun, Long means Long Valley in English, and so they just use that same name here. Now, Mortlach is a very interesting distillery. I just went and I pulled out my book here. I pulled out an older copy on purpose, and it talks about an expansion here at Mortlach. So I'm going to just read this real quick. It says here, in last year's book, which was 2014, we could report on the upcoming expansion of Mortlach Distillery, which will double the capacity to almost 8 liters at a cost of 18 million pounds. Warehouse 1 and 2 were demolished at the end of 2013 to make room for a new still house, and the plan is to have the new part of the distillery in full production come November 2015. Wow. Okay. The distillery is equipped with a 12-ton Lauter mash, 6 washbacks, and 6 stills in various sizes. Very interesting. Which would mean that they would not have 6 stills, they would actually have 12 stills now. But wait, I was there in March of 2019. I looked through a little crease, a little crack in the thing. They didn't have that many stills. So I went online and I kind of did a little bit of my Googling, which I sometimes do. And in the year 2014, in October, it says here, Diageo, the world's largest producer of Scotch whisky, is to delay its planned increase in production capacity as global demand falters. This is the year 2014. We're now 2021, almost 22, and the demand is skyrocketing. Diageo, what did you think back then? So it says here, since 2012, the British Drinks Group has been embarking on a £1 billion pound project to increase its Scotch capacity. However, latest figures from the Scotch Whisky Association show sales have slowed in key markets, including Singapore, Germany, Mexico, and the US. This is way back in 2014. And that's why it says the cause of the slowdown has been blamed largely on austerity measures in China, political tensions in Russia and the Middle East, and weak currency in certain markets, particularly Russia, where the ruble has declined by 40%. All right, so it's understood that Diageo has halted construction of a 50 million malt whiskey distillery in Teninik in the Highlands, a 30 million expansion of Kleinlich distillery, construction of a bioenergy plant at Glendullen, as well as a planned 18 million expansion of the Mortlach distillery in Speyside. Oh no, it was never built. So this book was actually talking about things that did not happen. That's very, very good. Interesting to know that. Oh, I left my thumb out of here, but they do give a great description of what happens here at Mortlach. So I want to read this here, all right? So, what does it say here? Okay. So the distillation process at Mortlach is unique in Scotland. There are 3 wash stills and 3 spirit stills, where the number 3 pair acts as a traditional double distillation. The lower wines from wash still number 1 and 2 are directed to the remaining 2 spirit stills according to a certain distribution. In one of the spirit stills, called Wee Witchy, the charge is redistilled twice. And with all the various distillations taken into account, it could be said that Mortlach is distilled 2.8 times. Okay, very, very good. And the malt from Mortlach plays an important part in Johnnie Walker Black Label. Why didn't you expand the distillery, Diageo? I'm sure right now people are kicking themselves in the butt and going, had we only, had we only, had we only. All right, so what we have here is an independently bottled Mortlach, 118 euros. It's very interesting to actually see the prices of Mortlach at the moment. For example, we had Mortlach 6 Kingdoms. Remember the Game of Thrones series, 15 years of age from 2019? What did it cost? 118 euros. The Wee Witchy 12 is about 50 euros over here. The Distiller's Dram 16-year-old is about 80 euros over here. The 20-year-old, the Cowles Blue Seal, is about 200 euros over here. The 14-year-old is about 60 euros over here. We do have some very cloudy 7-year-old 35 euro things here from Mortlach. a couple of those different things. And there was just I actually have the bottle over there, the Mortlach Special Release 13-year-old of Diageo 2021 with 55.9% for 100 and almost 70 euros. I like this nose. This is very, very good. So Gordon MacPhail actually has a 25-year-old Mortlach, 200 euros, which I think is almost a steal at the moment. Cheers. Wow. Meaty. A little tiny bit of sulfur, a little bit of acidity, a lot of bite. And then there's that wonderful fruit, cherry, wild cherry moment on there. Nice. Tiny little bit of oak. Well done. So I think LongValley redeemed themselves enough that I'm going to buy another bottle in the future. I like this a lot. I'm going to give this actually a C++, B minus. Value for money. I must admit that they are priced, excuse me, about where they should be at the moment. 118 euros for a 17-year-old Mortlach independently bottled. It's not wrong. I'm going to give it a C minus. All right. So if you have the money and you can find the bottle, it's 318 worldwide. Basically just a Germany only release. This is something I can recommend. As I said, there is no old oak moment there. It's almost as if the 15 years of this whiskey had not almost happened, or very, very, very little happened in the first 15 years. It was a very inactive, very dead cask. Now, the Portuguese red wine cask, wonderful. It harmonizes very well. It just strengthens the taste of the Mortlach even more. Accentuates the flavor profile in total. There is a tiny little bit of bite here. The alcohol is there. If you would have given this to me blind, I would have said, oh, between 8 and 12 years old, and it's definitely a port or a red wine finish. I'm not sure. I get from both of those sometimes a cherry, cherry moment there. Well done, well done. Doesn't need water. I put water in my German video. Doesn't change it at all, hardly. Very nicely done. I hope this is the next act for many, many good things that will come in the future. I hope it just wasn't a lucky pick. I hope it was actually a well done created whiskey, and there will be more to follow. So, what is your favorite Mortlach? Pick one of them, one of the many from the distillery or a independently bottled. I have had hardly a bad Mortlach yet. Hardly. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others, maybe even sharing this video on social media, and telling about this crazy guy over here in Europe being able to taste things you'll never ever see or get your hands on. Great concept. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.